All right, welcome back. This is going to be part 97 of my presentation on Dinosaurs and Man. And what I thought was kind of funny when I was looking at the title that I was going to have to title this video here, it's part two of the Japanese track, which is the 19th part of the block of the Dinosaur and Man tracks altogether. And so different layers in here, but guys, after this video here, we got one more video that we're going to look at a human and dinosaur track. And then we're going to start looking at areas around the world that have found human tracks. And so mainly human tracks is what we're looking at. They found some animal tracks with the human tracks. We're going to look at that. And then at the very end of this block with the whole fossil human tracks and dinosaur tracks, the whole thing all together. I'm going to be sharing Ian Juby's videos and also the testimonies of these individuals that saw the Dinosaur and Man tracks, and let them speak for themselves. And so there's still those to come also. But in this one here, if you'll notice on the screen, let's just rehash just a little bit from the last video. This is the Japanese track right here. Now you're looking at it on top. Now what I want to do is I just want to kind of just go over briefly. Now I do have my cast of this track here, and I'll hope to be able to show you that if time permits. But like I said, I just want to rehash this just to kind of refresh your mind. This is that track. This is looking at it on top. And that track that's right beside of it, that is a picture of the Miller track, or the Hugh Miller track. We're going to look at that, or Sir George track. We're going to look at that. We're going to talk about that in this video. But this right here is the latex mold. You're looking underneath. What Joe Taylor did is he put a latex mold inside of the track, and then he pulled it out and he turned it over. That way he could see the fine details that you can't see if you were just looking at it on top. And so a lot of your crime investigations, forensic investigations, will do stuff like this because you can see fine details in car tracks, your tire tracks, and footprints, shoe prints, and stuff like that. You can see those fine details that you can't see. So what he did is he did that, and he could see more of pronounced toes. Especially there was two really good toe prints, but then the third one is just barely visible. But you can see the ball of the foot and the arch area was very pronounced here. And so in this picture here, I'm just drawing lines around those toe prints, and this is with no lines whatsoever. And then I showed you the arch. We looked at the arch there, and and you're looking at this from the more of the side of the foot. You can see the shape of it better. And then this is going back to just the lines without the words in it, and then no lines whatsoever. So let's go back to the lines again, and then no lines at all. So that is the picture of this track. Now what Joe did is he did a quick sketch. Now Joe's an artist. He's a fantastic artist. And I showed you that at the beginning of the last video. If you want to go back and see some of the pictures of his artwork, he is phenomenal. He was a professional artist. And this is his quick sketch that he did on that track there to show certain features. And so again, the main toe, the big toe, and the second toe was more predominant. And then you got that ball of the foot and going down into the arch there. And so, but this was a quick sketch that he did showing some of the track features. Now this right here is the Miller track, or the AKA the Sir George track. It was from a series of 7 tracks excavated by Hugh Miller and a team from Ohio. This was excavated near the newly discovered Japanese track, which is key. This is back in, it was discovered back in 1983, this Miller track. And now, again, like with the other tracks, I'm going to show you some of the toes there. Now, all 5 toes are on this track here. Again, because of the coloration of this picture here, it's kind of hard to see some of the features, though you can make out the human footprint is there. You got the big toe is 1, so you got 1, second toe, 2, third, 3, 4, 5. So you got, all 5 toes are there going in the way that the shape of the foot would be. Now, what I did is I drew lines around the feature so you could see that. This is what that track looks like, drawing the lines around it. Now, let's take a look at with no lines and then with lines. Let's do no lines again. Now, Joe states, it is obviously a normal human footprint. Its only distinguishing difference is the second toe. It makes a deeper and almost round depression. When I place the latex mold of the Japanese track and the Sir George track or the Miller print together, it was a perfect fit. The second digit impressions were identical. And so when you look at the tracks, now the drawing on the right is the one of the Japanese track, and the one on the left is the Miller track. They have the very distinguishing feature is that second toe. The second toe makes like if you was to take a marble and put it in the ground, it's just a perfectly little round area, and where it is on the foot there, it matched perfectly. And it said later that same day, Dr. Marori, after we finished excavating the new Japanese track, told Dr. Ba, we are Buddhist, but I think I am becoming a creationist. Joe adds, I wish more doubters would take the time to personally study the Glen Rose tracks. And I will agree. These guys came out. This Japanese film crew came out. This doctor and this science writer, they came out there open-minded and wanted to see what was out there. And even though they were Buddhist guys, that evidence spoke to them so strongly that they were considering becoming a creationist and evidently becoming a Christian. And so very, very encouraging. And that's the reason why I do what I do here. And why we're taking so much time on this block here on my presentation. Now, what I'm going to do here is I have 2 casts behind me, and we're going to look at those casts real quick. And I want to show you some features there that maybe you couldn't see on these pictures here. So let's take a look at that real quick. All right, this is the cast of the Japanese track that I got from Joe Taylor many, many years ago. And what I did is I would take this cast to presentations, and so I made little markers here showing what is what. Now, this right here is the Acrocanthosaurus track, and so when we were talking about how the track, how the toes came in, but the middle toe didn't make a good impression, he said it was because the ground at that time when the track was made was not a wet, muddy, sloshy type of thing, but it was more firmer. And evidently when the toes came in, maybe because the pressure, it didn't leave a good middle toe print. But that is a Acrocanthosaurus dinosaur footprint right there. And now the human print is right here. Now, what I did is when I got this from Joe, it was white. It was white. And Joe told me to make it look more like it would out on the field, he said to take Lipton instant tea, it's like a powder, wet it down and take a sponge and just kind of dab it all over and just kind of let it pool where it goes. And he says if you want it darker, you can actually keep using more tea, dabbing it until you get the desired effect that you want. But he said Lipton tea is really a good thing to use. So that's what I used to stain this track here. Now, I did put more stain in the footprints to make them stand out a little bit more. And so that's the reason they're appearing a little bit darker than the rest of it. And so, but the human track, and I really, guys, I tried not to let my mind favor the shape of a foot. I just pretty much let it go where it did. And so this line here that you see is actually the actual line in the casting that was there when they excavated. And so I didn't make this line. This line, there's actually a bump right there. So it's kind of hard to see in the filming here. And so, but there is a lump, there is a bump right there, an edge right there. But this right here is the toe prints. You got the big toe, and then you got the second toe. Now the third toe, there's a very slight indentation there, but it's not that recognized. It's really, really hard to feel it. And so, but those first two toes, you cannot miss those. And so that's what Joe was saying, is this second toe here was very distinguishable when it came to the Sir George track. And then you got the ball of the foot. It goes down. It goes down here. I hope you can kind of see that where it goes down. This is the ball of the foot area. And then the area of the heel is just not really, it's just hard to see it. But it would be around somewhere in this area here would be that. Now, it does, piece of trash there, it does have an indentation right here. That edge, just like you see here, there's an edge here, and it goes around. So it very well could be that this individual, when it stepped, kind of moved just a little bit. Like I said, this was a firmer ground, he said, much firmer ground. But you can make out where the foot would have laid at. And so this would have been a left footprint. And so now the Miller track, I got a casting of the Miller track, and that's it right here. This is what the Miller track looks like. Again, I took Lipton tea and put that, dabbed it all around, putting more of it in the track there so that track would show up real good. And again, all 5 toes are there. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so what? And he said that second toe was so distinguishable, just like the Japanese track. And what he did is he made a latex mold of this, and he put them together, and it was a perfect fit. So he believes the same person that made this track which was in the same area as where this track was discovered. He thinks this person might have made the exact same. It would have been the same person. And so again, that's the evidence that they're showing here. But this track right here is very, I mean, you can't miss that. I mean, you got the toes, you got the ball of the foot, which is right here, and then you got the heel impression at the bottom. And so very, very nice track indeed. And so, but that's the Japanese track, guys. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it. We'll just let the video end from here. I hope this has been extremely educational and eye-opening for you. And whether you believe it or not, this is the evidence that's out here. And so I do hope to one day be able to meet Mr. Joe Taylor in heaven. He is really a soldier for the faith. But I was just very delighted to be able to get this track that he actually excavated with Dr. Carl Ball being recorded by the Japanese film crew. I would love to have a recording of that video that they did. But guys, when we come back, we got one more track to look at, and that's going to be it of the Dinosaur and Man tracks. And then after this, we're going to start looking at human tracks that were found around the world and look at that. All right, you guys take care. I love you. Hope the Lord bless you real good.